Staying home because of the coronavirus probably means that your child does not have the same level of routine and structure usually provided by school and other programs or activities. With so much downtime, it can be hard to keep your child engaged, especially while tending to other responsibilities such as work, household tasks, and self-care. Activity schedules are a tool that might help. This presentation describes what an activity schedule is and provides some ideas for how you might create and use an activity schedule to help your child be more independent. An activity schedule is a type of visual schedule that uses symbols, pictures, or words to show the order of activities in a given time. The types of activities and tasks in an activity schedule varies depending on the child's needs and abilities, but are always things the child has already learned and can usually do without help from someone else. However, the level of independence with an activity schedule depends on the child's age, development, and so on. In the beginning, your child may participate in the schedule with adult assistance if needed. In a sense, an activity schedule is like a day planner or to-do list. It organizes activities in the order they are to be done and tells the child what is currently happening, what is coming up next, and when they are done. There is lots of published scientific research that has shown activity schedules to be effective for helping children of all ages learn to complete activities independently. The benefits of activity schedules for learners with ASD and other neurodevelopmental challenges include increasing on-task behavior, decreasing problem behavior, easing transitions between activities, building independence, and improving self-management. Activity schedules are often used at school to help build independence. But the good news is they can be used almost anywhere, including home, and can be easy and cost-effective to make. You might consider making an activity schedule for your child if problem behavior seems to be getting worse day by day. Your child needs to be constantly supervised or entertained, or does not have the skills to play on their own. Other children or tasks need your attention, or your child only engages with electronics such as TV, iPod, computer, and so on. Your child is ready for an activity schedule if they can match objects or pictures, will allow someone to physically guide them to do a task, can use hands and fingers to manage items, and can do some simple or brief tasks and activities without help from others. There are 6 steps in planning and making an activity schedule. The first decision you need to make is when to use the activity schedule. You need to decide when during the day you would like your child to use the activity schedule. It might help to start with the part of the day when it is most difficult to keep your child engaged. When your child has learned to follow the activity schedule without help from someone else, you may then want to use an activity schedule at different times during the day and for different types of activities. Next, decide what activities your child can and will do as part of the activity schedule. The types of activities are based on your child's needs and abilities. Activities should include things your child already knows how to do without help from someone else. Any activity that has a clear beginning and end can be included in an activity schedule. An activity schedule should include a variety of activities your child enjoys, mixed with some that are less preferred. It's okay to give your child some choice about the activities that are included. Be sure to rotate tasks to prevent boredom. You don't want the activity schedule to be overwhelming. It's better to start with 2 or 3 activities and then add more as your child is better able to complete the activity schedule independently. Many different types of activities can be included in a schedule, including school tasks like reading, writing, and math, playing with toys, and leisure activities such as coloring, painting, and playing with Play-Doh. Remember that the activities in the schedule must be things your child can already do without help from others. You can help increase your child's motivation by using pictures of characters, animals, or other favorite objects as part of the materials. You can use any object and materials you already have on hand to create tasks. Some other tasks to consider include chores such as folding laundry, feeding pets, setting the table, exercise, arts and crafts, and assembling toys like Lego or K'NEX. Use what you have on hand. Make puzzles by cutting out photos or pictures. Create your own letters with construction paper or by cutting out letters from empty cereal boxes. Use cardboard to make your own dishes or use old sets of dishes left over from a party. take pasta or cereal and thread it on a rope or string. Preparing for independent tasks can be a great way to reuse, reduce, and recycle materials that you have at home. If you run out of ideas, look around and ask yourself, how can the materials I see be used for a standalone task? The third step is to create a visual display that shows each step or activity. The schedule can be made using objects that represent the tasks, symbols, pictures, or words. It can be drawn on a dry erase board or on paper and arranged so that one activity or multiple activities shows at a time. The schedule can be arranged top to bottom or left to right. The way you display the activity schedule must be workable for you and your child. You need to be able to put the display together quickly and easily, and your child needs to understand what needs to be done, in what order, and what to do when they finish. Next, you'll need to decide how many activities to include and what rewards you can build into the end of the activity schedule. It is better to start with a smaller number of activities and add more as your child gets better at using the activity schedule independently. It's okay to start with 2 or 3 brief activities and then add more as your child becomes more independent. By gradually increasing the number of activities, you are gradually increasing your child's ability to work and play on their own. Your child will learn they can do work on their own without needing your assistance, and you can take advantage of this time to do your own tasks or have some time for yourself. One way to help motivate your child is to include a reward as the final activity or item in the schedule. The reward can be a more open-ended activity, like using electronics, playing a game with someone else, a snack or treat, etc. Including the reward at the end makes it more likely that your child will complete the activity schedule willingly. Step 5 is to prepare the visual schedule, organize the activities, and decide on the space where the activity schedule can be completed. The visual schedule and materials should be nearby where your child will do the activities. Materials can be placed on a shelf, in baggies, or in baskets. Organize the activities to meet your child's needs and how it works best in the space you have. With the planning and preparation completed, it is then time to teach your child to follow the schedule. When it's time for your child to do the activity schedule, your first step is to give a simple instruction. For example, you might say, "It's time to do your baskets," or "Do your independent tasks." You will need to adapt the instruction to your child's level of understanding. You can simply say "baskets" or "independent tasks" if your child has a more limited level of understanding. To help ensure your child does not become dependent on you to finish the activity schedule, you do not give any more verbal instructions after telling them to start. Obviously, when you first start using the activity schedule, your child may need assistance to learn how to use it independently. To do this, you stand behind your child and provide physical assistance. This is known as prompting. The goal is to provide only the amount of assistance necessary for your child to complete the schedule correctly and provide less and less assistance or less prompting as your child learns how to complete the activity schedule on their own. Be sure that you decrease the level of assistance as quickly as possible so that your child learns to work independently and does not become dependent on your help. Let's look at each of the teaching steps in more detail. Your child needs to know what is expected. Giving only an instruction to start and no other instructions as your child completes the tasks helps to ensure your child learns to finish the schedule without help from others. Once you have given the initial instruction, your child should complete the tasks with the minimum amount of help necessary. Again, avoid giving any further verbal instructions after the initial instruction. You do not want your child to wait for you to tell them what to do for each task in the activity schedule. This means that you should not have to explain the tasks. Your child should be able to do the tasks in the activity schedule on their own. If your child needs assistance to complete a task, it is better to leave that task out of the activity schedule and practice it at a different time. You are only teaching your child how to use the activity schedule. When teaching your child to use their activity schedule, position yourself behind them. This allows you to provide physical assistance without them seeing you and prevents them from making eye contact. This will help your child to focus on the task and not on you. When you encourage your child, you will also do it from behind. Physical assistance, or prompting, is important because it increases the likelihood that your child will correctly do what is being asked. The best approach is to offer more help at the beginning and reduce the level of assistance as quickly as possible while ensuring your child continues to meet expectations. The best way to fade the amount of physical guidance you provide to your child is to use full physical support, also known as hand-over-hand teaching, followed by a lesser amount of physical assistance, and finally gestures. Remember, assistance is always provided while standing behind your child. It can be helpful to understand what prompting looks like before you try it with your child. Physical guidance means you are using your body to guide your child's body through the task. This may mean you put your hands on your child's hands or physically guide them to perform the task. For example, if you want your child to get materials out of a basket, you place your hand over your child's hand and lead their hand to the basket. You try to use your child's hand to grasp the materials, not yours, so it is your child who pulls the materials out of the basket. By doing this, your child will have a better understanding of what they need to do, which will help develop independence. You can also use physical prompting when you need to direct your child from one place to another. For example, if you need your child to move from the basket to the work table, remain behind them, place your hands on each side of their body, and guide them to the desired location. Partial physical assistance occurs when you guide rather than take control. So instead of placing your hand on your child's hand and directing it towards the activity basket, for example, you might guide their hand by gently pushing their wrist towards the basket. Gestural assistance is just what it sounds like, using gestures such as pointing to indicate what your child should do. Going back to the example of taking materials from the basket, you would simply point to the basket to encourage your child to take the needed materials. It is important to gradually decrease the amount of prompting you provide so your child learns to follow the activity schedule without you having to guide them. Offer only the amount of assistance needed to get your child on task. Decrease the amount of guidance you give when your child shows understanding of what needs to be done. For example, if you guide your child's hand toward the basket and your child grabs the materials without you, you can let go, but stay close enough to help if you see a mistake about to happen. If you remove assistance too quickly, your child may make mistakes. If this happens, return to the level of assistance where you last had success and try reducing again. If you remove assistance too slowly, it may take longer for your child to learn to complete the schedule independently, or they may learn to only complete tasks when assistance is provided. Let's look at a video of a parent teaching their child to use an activity schedule. Notice each of the 4 steps that we just talked about: giving the initial instruction, positioning behind the child, providing assistance when needed, and adjusting the level of assistance according to the child's needs.
Owen, it's time to do your activity baskets. We're going to do the baskets and then we'll play soccer, okay?
It does sound funny, but that sounded good. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. As a podcast, j'ai pas doit commencer un moment. No,
Soccer. Super, let's go play soccer.
We just looked at an example of a parent teaching their child to use an activity schedule. The parent will continue to provide assistance to the child until they are able to complete the sequence independently. When your child completes the activity schedule independently, they will follow these steps. First, they will check the activity display when given the instruction to start. They will then get the first task shown on the schedule and prepare and complete that task. They will then place the completed task in the designated spot. This might be an all done or finished box, or they might put things back where they came from. They will then repeat steps 2 to 4 for the other tasks shown on the schedule. Now, let's look at a video showing an older child who has learned to do an activity schedule without assistance.
Do your schedule.
That was an example of a child completing an activity schedule independently. When your child can do this, it will be important to provide variety and rotate activities often. This will help prevent the activity schedule from becoming monotonous for your child. As your child learns how to do new tasks, try placing those in the schedule. Be sure to mix tasks your child likes with tasks that are less preferred, and include a reward at the end of the schedule so your child has something to work for. Some final thoughts. Be patient with yourself and your child. Teaching and learning at home may be new to everyone. Expecting too much, especially as you begin teaching, may lead to more stress for you and your child. Your goal is to make progress, not to achieve perfection. Start with just 1 or 2 activities and expand slowly to help your child gain confidence. Be sure the activities you include in the activity schedule are meaningful. It shouldn't be just busy work. Try to find activities that your child enjoys, help build independence, and contribute to the household. End the activity schedule with a reward. Ending with an enjoyable activity or snack gives your child something to work for. Make a list of rewards that your child may find motivating. If you need ideas, observe your child during free time or when choices are available and know what items, activities, foods, etc. they select. Thank you, and we wish you all the best while trying this at home with your child.